these are games that I've played since doing the show this time last year that haven't made the list for this year.
They're not in the top 3 of the list this year.
They're not in the top 3. They're just different games that are noteworthy that I've played this year that I either do or don't recommend, but I have played them this year. One of them is Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. I got this for Christmas last year. Treated myself, treat yourself.
Yeah.
It's just a brilliant game. It's really great. Kind of a tricky little kind of a puzzler. It's sort of like a Connect. Like a Connect 4, kind of like a match 3.
Yeah.
That's the name of that. So it's kind of like a match 3, but the more you match, you could match 10 in a thing.
Yeah.
In a line or in a
like
kind of a trail.
Grindstone.
Like Grindstone,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's along the same lines as that sort of thing, like a match 3. Except, these two games are doing entirely different things, like Shovel Knight and Grindstone, but they are in and around that same thing. Oh man, Grindstone is a super game. I would say Grindstone nearly made my best of the year list there a few years ago. So, nearly. I say this game. This is nowhere near
Honorable
top 3,
mentions.
but it's still a great game. The booster tracks that boosted the game back into our life, let's say.
It was always in our life now, but it gave it a new breath of life.
New lease on life. It really did. I mean, it's a game from 2017. I would argue that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best version of Mario Kart that there has ever been. And I love what they're doing because I do think that the game deserves to be the Smash Bros. Ultimate of Mario Karts. The game is perfect. It doesn't need to be iterated or added upon.
Even they clearly admit that it's the best version, so let's just put all of our outstanding old ones and let's just shove it on here. Let's just not make a new game. Let's just add tracks. Let's just add them. Like characters to Smash Bros, as you say. It's so good. Aren't there more coming for Christmas?
There are a couple. A
The next
new
round.
wave has released 2 weeks ago, and so we have new ones to play.
It's 6 waves, and it's on the 3rd wave now.
There's 6 waves, and we're halfway through.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
this
So
is
there's
the third.
48 new tracks, and it was €25, 48 new tracks. Whereas the base game was €60 as a base game, and you got 48 tracks as well. So it's the same amount of tracks.
Yeah.
And this really did reinvigorate the game for us, and we played this a lot this year. In fact, funny, we should have this on here. I got my Switch Rewind for the year, all the games that you played on Switch for the year, and this was my number 2 most played game of the year.
Oh, I
And
wonder
I
why.
didn't even realise it. We played it so much this year.
It just comes out. It's great. It's like you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong at the end of the day with a Mario Kart 8. You can't.
You can't. It's really brilliant. It's perfect. It's tight. The driving feels great. There's so many different characters, different levels.
Yeah.
It's
You
really
got your
great.
young cousins over, stick on Mario Kart. You got your aunts and uncles over, stick on Mario Kart. You have friends over, stick on Mario Kart. You just want to have a bit of crack, stick on Mario Kart. No matter the setting, Mario Kart is just it's a go-to. Everyone enjoys it. And you just get
Perfect party
shenanigans.
game.
You get shenanigans.
The perfect party game, I would say. In saying that, the good thing you brought up party games with different cousins, and you can play with your baby cousins, you can play with your 80-year-old granny, because the accessibility options in this are tremendous. Just some of the stuff they're doing, with the assist and the you can't drive off the track.
Someone who can't control her thumbs when playing, I drive off the track all the time. But once I have that little safety net on, grand. Also, especially because even me, I end up somehow being backwards sometimes when you get dropped off the track or hit someone, or someone hits you with a shell that they are absolute rude. But you're able to make sure that you stay facing forward and everything. Now, obviously, with those settings, it does make it hard to try and take the shortcuts of the maps, but you kind of don't really need it. The most exciting thing I think for the next wave is that you can personalize your you can personalize what things you can gather, so your shells and everything like that. And someone has play tested to have only blue shells on the map.
We've seen some very funny TikToks of those. That's really great.
I cannot wait, because like you know at Christmas we're gonna have a blue shell like racetrack map. Like we're gonna do it.
Just make them 1 meter increments each time before getting blown out of it by
Yeah,
a blue shell,
like
and the map takes 8 hours to finish.
someone's gonna just keep like, because that's the thing. No one's gonna want to be first, but they're gonna want to have that blue shell so they can overtake the first person in the last second.
That's fair. That is
Like
true.
you know something's gonna happen. Someone's
Yeah.
gonna lose an eye.
I hope it's not.
No, it's not.
Yes, another kind of like interesting game I played this year was Crown Trick. I played this around April, and it's kind of like a turn-based kind of like dungeon crawler. Sort of, you got your usual upgrades, and there's different. It's kind of based around elements, and you have to try and counter elements with certain elements. You got like wind and fire, and water, electricity, and stuff like that. Really cool little game. I think it was a Chinese developer, very kind of unheard of, but this game's kind of lost to obscurity, but I definitely recommend it, like on sale. Really cool. It doesn't particularly stand out or anything like that, but I just remember having like a really cool time with it. At the same time, I also played Overboard. I understand that there's about maybe, I don't know how many, like there's over like a dozen different endings that you can get or something. I can't remember, but there's loads of different endings you can get, and it's like a murder mystery on a boat, and it's all takes place on like a 24-hour like time. So you gotta interrogate people and go to certain parts of the ship where certain people will be at a certain time, and you gotta like create that pattern, and you're gonna lose a lot, but you're gonna understand like,
Bit of a Groundhog Day.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like a Cluedo. It's like, Father Mustard or whatever his name is in the in the stern at
Colonel Mustard,
12
thank you.
o'clock.
Colonel Mustard.
Well, yeah, Father Mustard, and then Sergeant Red is in he's on the bow of the stern, or he's in like the crow's nest at 2 o'clock, and he killed such and such, and it's a murder mystery on a time loop. It's actually very good. I finished it. I think I finished one loop of it within 2 hours, and I kind of wore out its welcome for me. But I understand that this was made by one dude, or maybe I can't remember if it's 1 or 2 or 3, but it was made by a small team anyway over lockdown, and that in itself is pretty cool, I think. So definitely worth a go if you're into murder mysteries and like time and stuff like that, like Groundhog Day, as you said. Pretty good. Oh my boy. So I was so stoked with Synthetic. Synthetic didn't make the bonus game, and it would take something riveting to get to nip Synthetic of its bonus game status, because I was obsessed with Synthetic. Oh my god, it's perfect. It's just incredible. It's tight, it's snappy, it's energy, it's exciting, it's just guns all the time, different types of weapons. You're like a super soldier, you go in and destroy other like robot android super soldiers. The weapons are crisp, just like tangy, do you know what I'm saying? Like they just have a great kick off them. It feels fun to shoot. Different weapons are powerful. You get like passive upgrades, and you get active upgrades, and call in nukes, call in airstrikes, call in like you can like set decoys, you can set like C4s, traps and stuff like that around. Kind of like it plays like an isometric top down sort of like action game. Very action, very action, extremely difficult game. Very difficult, but extremely fun because of it. And when you start like accruing up a bit of a few powers, it's a roguelite as well, so you unlock things every run for permanently. Absolutely sensational. It makes you feel like a god. I think it's because it's the huge draw to this game, I would argue, is that the sound design and the tactile, that feedback from when you pull the trigger, it feels chunky. Like you got some screen shake, you got like the sound effects like rumble in your ear. Like it feels like weapons feel crisp and chewy. Do you know what I mean? So I cannot get across the fact how tactile this game feels, and it's the feel of the game that really makes this game. And it's also co-op. Played a couple times co-op. It's just madness, because Friendly fire is enabled, and you cannot turn that thing off.
Oh my.
Oh my, indeed.
This is why I
tremendous
haven't
game.
played it with you.
You have not. Don't think it's your type of game. There's certainly not. It's the
If
antithesis
friend-
of a cozy game. It
if-
is not cozy.
If friendly fire is on, you know you're gonna get shot at some way. What's worse is I'm gonna be so. I would have, if I played this, I would have been so scared of like doing something to you. And yet I know the first friendly fire hit would have been you onto me somehow, and you would have been like, "Oops," and I'd been like, "That was planned. I know it was planned. Like, how dare you?"
Yeah, I probably deserve it. 100 million% recommend Synthetic, and there's a Synthetic 2. It's in early access. It doesn't have that kind of crisp feel to it from what I've
Same
read
feel.
on the forums and stuff. So, but I am very interested to see like how that game plays. But in the meantime, Synthetic 1 is the perfect game at what it's trying to do. Oh my god, nobody saves the world.
This isn't like, this is a game that we both played. This is a co-op game, and I loved it so much.
Yeah.
You basically like travel through changing different characters as like seen, and you end up at the end like going around and exploring. I love this style of like kind of, I guess, like open world roguelike style game, I think would be the best way to describe it. My only thing, I will put it out now, is that when I hate the fact that I have to keep changing characters, because I just wanted to be the rat, and I just wanted to stay as the rat because it was my favorite one, and I hated that people, like the game kept trying to be like, "Oh, wouldn't you like to change a different character to like level up?" And I'm like, no, just let me play my rat. Let me just like, I guess like what would be the word to describe like if you want to say as one character? I just want to like speed run it with the rat. I just want to speed run with
You just want to main the rat.
main the rat. I don't want to do anything else. James can change like the character as many times as they want. He was very good at changing it, but for me, I just wanted to be the rat because it was just the best fun.
I do agree that is a design flaw of this game.
Yeah.
It's cute, it's charming, the art style is amazing. I love the kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon vibe to the design, the drawings. Yeah, illustrations are phenomenal.
I think that's why, like, because we only stopped like halfway through, like we only discovered like half of the world, and I think like it was starting to grate a little because we had to keep trying to change characters to level them up and everything. Because like you get to a point and like you have to unlock to get to certain things, and that was just like where I was like, I wish there was just a speed run like method of where I could just pick one character and just run through it. And I think that's why like we kind of just fizzled out on the like, we played this so much at the beginning, and then it just fizzled out because it kind of just started getting a bit like kind of like, I just want to be one character, and even you even were like, I don't want to be these characters to level up.
That's true. I think that's where I was talking about the design flaw of it. If you like a character and enjoy playing them and their style and stuff, and the game forces you to change to a different character, even to progress along with
The story.
Yeah, so I don't think that is a great idea. Like I feel like if people want to play a certain style of character and like that playstyle fits their own, then they shouldn't be forced into choosing the character. And I think we had parsed the entire gameplay loop down to a fine T, and then we found out the characters that we liked, and the game wouldn't let us play those characters anymore. You had to choose another one to, you have to get this to a level A or S to unlock the ability to go here, and that was kind of like not really fun because we liked playing a certain character, especially you.
Like it was like the rat, or like then I like where you unlock the ghost, and I did unlock the ghost just for like the gameplay feature, but like it just kind of it was a good game. I really enjoyed it, but it was just that like the restriction on playing as like the requirement to play as characters restricted you in having a good crack. Like, don't get me wrong, there is like, I'd love to like, you're able to like unlock certain characters all the way up to like getting a dragon unlocked. I don't really I'd love to play it as a dragon. I think that would have been great fun, but also I'm like, I just want to run around as a little rat, like nibbling through things. Like,
I know, and that's unfortunate, but I would recommend it. Better game and co-op, not so good solo.
I wouldn't play this game solo.
Yeah, I wouldn't be interested in playing solo. I think the crack is in the co-op, and we made so many funny lines like floor chicken.
I'll have
which
to
we've been
watch it.
saying in all of our streams for the last year, has come from Nobody Saves the World. It's so many good one-liners. But
Yeah.
I would recommend it, but I recommend if you have a friend, like co-op is definitely the way to go. Another game I played was Floppy Nights. Kind of like a mixture between Advanced Wars and Fire Emblem, but with some weird kind of like card collecting, sort of like you play like use cards and like you build a deck, but you also field them like you would field kind of like Advanced Wars, but you have to like draw the correct cards again. The gameplay loop was very weird, and I don't think it really knew
Kind of like
what was
Dicey
going
Dungeons is what made me think of this game.
True, actually,
From
it
last
does
year.
have the same art style as Dicey Dungeons, but to tell you the truth, I just don't think that Dicey Dungeons does what it does better. But this game just doesn't really know. It spreads itself too thin across too many. Like, is it a card battler? Is it a Fire Emblem? Or is it an Advanced Wars? Like, it tries to do too many things, and it's just spread way too thin. It doesn't really have an identity. It doesn't know what it wants to do. It does everything average instead of one thing great.
Yeah.
So, and I don't really recommend Floppy Nights. Just if you have all the time in the world, then yeah, play it. But like, if you're on a tight schedule, like maybe if you're into,
You can take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. Yeah. Golf with your friends.
We actually did play this with friends.
We did.
We did.
And it is good fun. I like it because it's like short, sweet, straight to the point. It has like a hot seat in it, so one person takes a go at a time.
Yeah.
It's not like a simultaneous thing where everybody plays at the same time, like certain games
That
I've
would have
seen
been
recently.
ridiculous.
But I have seen that there is a trend in certain games where like golfing and stuff like that, where games that are traditionally turn-based.
You know I'm gonna smash someone with a golf, like with either the golf thing or something. If that was a group thing,
That sounds fun. Actually.
just for a bit of crack, and be like, oh no, get away your ball. No.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna take the shot.
Exactly.
Hit me.
In golf with your friends, it's kind of like a crazy golf style, like mini golf, and you play around like small courses. It's a complete like mess, like in terms of like it's just messing with your friends, and it's really fun like that. It's a great party game. Not sure if it has like a really lasting sort of, like, I suppose like most of these party games, they're kind of one and done.
Unless there's like, I guess we only really kind of one and done it ourselves. Like, I don't even think we finished. Like, did we finish it all? We don't know who won.
We did 2 courses and then that was it.
Well, no, we played like through like a 18 holes or something like that, and there were some ridiculous holes like on them, and that was what was great. But I don't know how that variety stacks, I think, in the game. I don't think we played it enough to really know. It is something that definitely like you'd get, and you just want to have like a bit of crack with everyone. I'd get it for that, like when like everyone's over and you don't want to play Smash and you want to do something a little more conversational.
It
like,
is definitely chill because one person plays at a time.
Person takes their turn and you can have a conversation, the other people, versus like obviously in Smash and in Mario Kart, you're not having a conversation, you're trying to like beat the other people because everyone's doing it at the same time, versus this is a lot more like, we just want to take our time and have a conversation, but we want to have something in the background as well. This would be what like I'd suggest.
I think some people would argue that that's not really a party game then if only one person is playing at a time.
Depends on the type of party.
That's true. I was going to say it's a very chill game. Although it is chill, and isn't. There's a lot of fun to be had from watching other people take their shots.
That's the thing, though.
I think that is fun. And whereas like one person takes the go, and the other people can like be chatting and talking and stuff together in the background, and it's more kind of like a conversational party.
Yeah.
Whereas like you said. Smash and Mario Kart,
like,
they're more like everybody's
if you're
involved.
waiting for like other people to show up and you don't want to get into a big game, because like when people are already playing Smash and Mario Kart, you can't really, like, when people show up, you have to either cut it or you have to like let them join, like hand over to them. You can't really. This is a real more so like, we're still waiting on like 3 more people that are going to be coming like in the next 30 minutes. Let's throw this on and just have a conversation, catch up about life and everything. And like that way, like the moment that someone comes in, you can just turn it off. You don't care. Like,
that's true. Actually, that's a good point. It is a great opening game to like a night.
Yeah.
If you wanted to play
when
with
you're
friends,
waiting and you don't want to be
waiting.
dedicated, because you know that once Smasher like that comes out, and as soon as other people walk in, because I've done it, I've walked into other people already playing like Smash or Mario Kart. Like, they're going to want to join in and play that game, or like they're gonna feel left out because you're like, no, we only have 2 more like maps to go through, or like, we have 1 more round to like win, like, and then we'll be with you kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is more so of like, nah, we're just playing golf and like you finish it kind of thing, and like you're just like, oh, you're here, and you turn off.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's like the way it goes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a great opener. Great opener. I do recommend it when at a party. It's just really good. And another main party game which has 4 people can play at a time.
Yeah.
Gang Beasts. I think we went through a phase of playing like all of these style party game with like, the ragdoll physics, like what is it?
Yeah,
I think we played like Rubber Bandits, and we played obviously
Fall
Gang
Guys.
Beasts. Fall
Guys was last year.
Yeah, no, well, not Fall Guys. Fall Guys is more of an online kind of like competitive.
Yeah, but
I'm
like
talking about like Gang Beasts is also.
We did log in with friends specifically. It's just how
Well, that
we
is
went
true,
in
yeah.
with other people on that. It's that ragtop type of person. Like
I
game.
do, yeah, that's fair. Although I would say that I don't really think that Fall Guys is a party game, because it's like you're not passing it around. Just like one person is taking the game very serious to try and win, and not that you can take it serious.
I don't know. I've
don't
been
think that
pushed
Gang
off of
Beasts-
that before, and same with in Gang Beasts, you get pushed off.
Yeah, I just don't think that Gang Beasts is in the same like genre.
Okay.
Like Gang Beasts, it's if you play one ragdoll physics game like Human Fall Flat, Rubber Bandits, all of these ragdoll physics party games, they're all great fun, but they are all the same game. But I don't think that they live in the same domain as Fall Guys. I think that's a beast into itself, like,
Okay.
because you can't turn Fall Guys on with friends at a party, and this is specifically a 4-player couch co-op party game, and that's why I prefer Gang Beasts over Fall Guys, because you can play with friends in the
I
immediate
suppose
vicinity.
in the same room, you can't do that on Fall Guys. Which really they need to like upgrade that like elements that you could log on as 4 people on the one game on Fall Guys.
That would be kind of cool.
Because I think we would
know
have played
Fall-
that more.
Yeah, I mean, it is really well. Like the production on Fall Guys is really good, but it's specifically multiplayer focused. I doubt they're gonna make it offline for that thing.
But no, not even about being offline. Like just having 4 people that can sit in the same room and log online.
Oh, to the same, kind of like the way Among Us does it, where you can just log into the same servers
And then people can join it. Yeah. That would have been great. That would have been great. You know, just as a side note, just saying.
Is anybody Fall Guys listening? Oh yeah, Proteus. This is an old style boomer shooter. I think that's the terminology or the phrasing they're going with nowadays to describe a 90s FPS Doom style game, or doomer shooter, boomer shooter. Yeah, Proteus is like, if you play Doom, original Doom, then you'll love Proteus. Really cool, like fast paced. Old style like 90s FPS, really cool weapons, throwaway story, like, but the monsters are cool, the action is cool, it's the guns and the action that's cool. But at the same time, it's saying that guns and action can only take you so far. The level design is pretty cool as well, and there's like loads of secrets and time attacks and stuff like that to do. But I only got about like halfway through the game, if even halfway through, before it sort of started getting boring, seeing the same things again, same monsters, same sort of like guns. You had the same. I had the gameplay loop like down to a fine art, like, and it was just kind of got a little bit boring. But it's still a great game, and it's on Game Pass for free. Well, free. It's on Game Pass, and yeah, I recommend it there. I definitely do recommend this game. It's terrific. Slime Rancher. I did a review of this with you before. Slime Rancher, great game, very chill. Definitely a you type of game.
So cozy. I actually have this on my list for 2023 as a cozy game, maybe on like the Switch, because I feel like it's more of a Switch than a Steam like game. But yeah, this is definitely like on my list because it just looks fun. Like as you say, like you're going around, you're like collecting slime and everything, like mixing them and everything. Like it's just one of those like nice little explore like farming style.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I do. I agree. It's a slow burn. You're just collecting different types of slimes, and you can combine different slimes with other slimes and create like you research different upgrades with your slimes to like get bigger farms or like better crops and better production in your farm and stuff like that. And it's very honestly, it's a very simple game, and you can upgrade loads of different things with going out and collecting slime and during the day, and then you go to sleep and then come back, kind of like if Stardew Valley was kind of like a 3D kind of a 3D Stardew Valley but in 3D. That's what it is. How I describe it, except without the townsfolk. It's hard to
On a desert planet.
On a deserted planet. Great game. I definitely recommend it. It's crazy cheap as well. You can get it for like £5 on Steam. And there's a second one just released, which I think if you like Slime Rancher 1, it's Slime Rancher 2 is the exact same thing. It's just more Slime Rancher.
More slime.
More slime. Besieged. I played Besieged by myself, even though I think Besieged is a party game.
We did play this together at one point, like sitting next to each other, as I got a chance to it, and I really enjoyed it. It did shenanigans.
We did actually.
You get out of
together.
it,
yeah.
because you obviously played like a bunch of them, and then I got like he showed me it, and I was playing them like in the hot seat, like to play it, and like how I did things versus how you did things was like you were like, oh, interesting. Like I didn't go with that design, and basically like you're trying to build siege units to like succeed in like killing everyone or blowing everyone up in like kind of as quick as possible. Like I made like blades of death like at one point, and you were just sitting there going like, what do you do? Like, how's this gonna work? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just gonna try and put as many blades on this as possible that spin and see what happens.
I think you made a helicopter truck. Or like a helicopter car, and it was just a blade spinning around. You just drove it into everybody, and I just love that. And that's the beauty of this kind of Besiege. It's like a sandbox game that you get challenges to do, and it's a mission-based structure. You go on from mission to mission. It's like one mission, destroy 50 enemies in this, and it's sometimes you get like you've like people on a hill, and you have to like launch catapults, but you have to build a contraption. The whole basis of the game is that you're building contraptions to like you can build trebuchets, and you can build like cars with helicopter like a helicopter
a combine harvester if you will.
Combine harvester we made I think it was like a push cart flamethrower where we pushed the flamethrower into people.
It had a cannon on top.
And it had a cannon
because we had to blow up people first and then had to go around and burn a building down.
That's why I think that Besieged works best as a couch kind of hot seat. I pass it to you, you pass it to me, we take turns. And it's not a co-op, and there's not 4 players, no multiplayer, but you taking turns and seeing what other people are building and creating. That's the fun of it. And honestly, I think the trial and error is the comedy part, because it's a ragdoll physics simulator, very similar to Tabs, except you're creating the contraption every game. When you're not creating every game, you can like make presets and stuff, but the contraption is the main gameplay loop.
Right.
Whereas Tabs, you're fielding an army.
I made a hot air balloon bomb.
A hot air balloon bomb.
I made a hot air balloon bomb. Just remembered that. I was like, there you go. Like, you can just come up with anything. It's really good. I would highly recommend anyone who just like wants to learn how certain things like could make, like see what you could do, like because you have to learn how to like reinforce it, and like how much like plating do you need to put on it, how many wheels do you need to put on it, how like wide or tall or width you need to put weights on it like to counterbalance. Like it's a really good like clever like, oh no, that like it's too heavy on the front so it tips over the moment it tries to move, or like it's a great construct like game to like just go in and be like, oh, this is ridiculous, like this is not gonna work, or I'm gonna make this work, how do I make it work?
And that's a great thing that you pull up, because I think that the appeal of Besieged is not just the crack you have with your friends if you're making things in the levels together and having fun and messing. It's the trial and error to get to the messing. It's the trial and error that you just mentioned, like building something, trying to reinforce it. You take off, and then next thing you know that your flamethrower propeller is actually catching fire to your entire ship, so you have to take that off or move it back or add steel plating. It's just a hilarious game, and the best thing about it is that it's $3.50 or €4 on Steam on sale, and it's on sale all the time. I definitely recommend picking up. It's also free on Game Pass.
It's stocking filler.
Great stock of filler. Great game to gift to somebody on sale. It's dirt cheap, and just the crack you can have with this, I think it really is sensational. No. So, Wendy, how did we first meet each other?
So, we both, like, our first date was an escape room. And of course, over lockdown, you couldn't go into anything. So of course we got like Game Pass, and this was like released. I think 2020, like last year was it, or was it earlier this year?
No, it was this year.
Oh yeah. So earlier this year,
this year.
because we played it earlier this year. I wasn't sure if it like released beforehand. So we got on and played this because we were like, oh, nostalgic feelings, you know, like
first date vibes.
First date vibes. Like we like, you know, people thought we were best friends or dating for like years because we were that good in an escape room.
Little did they know we only met each other an hour ago. And it spawned the all-time famous phrase between us, 52 seconds.
We escaped the room in 52 seconds, and yeah, it was just like a great like experience. So when this obviously came up as a chance to do online escape rooms, it is so good. It's so interesting. You can do it as a multiplayer, a co-op, and it's very entertaining. There's so many different things going around. There's different, like, some very clever like challenges, some very observational challenges, very like there's some mathematical, some reaction ones. There's kind of something for everyone kind of style.
That's a great point. Yeah, I think you really did summarize it quite well. It's great for different types of brains.
Yeah,
it's great for like you said, described it all. Like it really is. People who you can play a co-op as well. That's the main draw, is that you can play it with
together.
Friends.
Yeah.
It's an excellent couples game. I definitely recommend this for couples who are looking to try something different, or if you like escape rooms or like puzzles and puzzle solving together. Brilliant. I wholeheartedly recommend this game. It's just it's a great. It's kind of like a comfort game, but some of the puzzles are kind of tough, and you're good at puzzles in certain ways where I'm terrible at observing things and seeing patterns.
That's the thing. You're good in some aspects. I'm good in different aspects. So it was really good complementary in it, because it did give us a chance to kind of challenge each other. Of like this is like I could voice things out, and James like would immediately kind of catch up and be like, oh, this is like something I seen. I'm like, oh my god, like. And you would voice stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I seen this like 2 rooms ago. I know what this is referencing, kind of thing. Like, it's really good, and they are really good challenges. It's basically all set in literally an academy, and you're helping, like you're trying to study there or something, like to become an escapist. I don't really know the premise. I just know we go to an academy and we're trying to escape different rooms as our challenges of classes. But it was just really good. The characters that you come across are quite interesting. There's always, of course, that like snob in the school that like, I'm number 1, and you're like, please go home. Like, I just want to have fun. I'm like, do I really need this storyline? No.
I'm the same. I think the story's kind of throwaway, and
take
I
it or
didn't really
leave
care
it
so much for the story. I just wanted to play the puzzles and the escape rooms, and I definitely recommend this great couples game.
And then
boys. Now, I know that there are a dime a dozen survival crafting games, and it's kind of a roulette in a sense. Like, which one do you choose? Like, which one do you actually pick? Because there are so many different types. Like, just between Valheim and Don't Starve, and there's what's that Oxygen game? I say there's so many, and now I can't remember more than 2. But it's just there are tons of them. Rust and all these different types. There's like open. What's that game with the sharks in it? Is it like Rift or something, or like Open? I can't remember. Actually, so there's only 2. 2 games
that you can recall,
and you can only choose, and it's only Valheim or it's only Don't Starve.
And we haven't even played Valheim yet. It's on our list.
We haven't even played that.
It's on our list.
Yeah, I really want to play that. But for the most part, this game is really, really good, because it's like a Tim Burton survival horror-y sort of. Definitely a bit of horror in it as well.
Oh god, is there horror? So we played this a couple of times, and we kind of only got to I think 13 days was our longest at the time, and that was when I was being really good and I didn't die. And what does James go and do? He goes and dies twice within a space of a minute of each other. He revives and then dies again, and I'm like, what are you doing?
I shouldn't went back to those killer hornets.
You went back. Like, first and foremost, you kicked the beehive, and then second, I
went back to kick it again.
It even said killer bees on it. He decides, I wonder what this is, and goes kicks it, and then dies.
There was honey in it.
I
thought there was honey in it.
Oh, come on. And then, of course, like within responding, he went back and died again. And I was like, "That's it. We're turning off of this whole like permanent permadeath like situation." Took that off. Took off the dogs, and then still got ravaged by dogs on our long-standing ones because we're currently in winter. We have a long-standing game now to try and see how far we can go and experience everything because we just want to enjoy the game. We don't have to run for our lives, which is kind of not the point of the game. But we are still starving. That's the scary thing in winter. We didn't plan ahead for winter. Now that we know. But yeah, we still got attacked by dogs, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I turned these off, but like, all right.
Well, that's funny you say that. I'm glad you brought that up because when you load into the server, so you can create your own server, and honestly, you can turn everything and anything off or on, like
Do
anything.
anything.
Like you can turn enemies. You can turn. My favorite thing is to turn that we did was turn permadeath off. So if we die, then we're not completely out of the game, and our server just doesn't.
And you have to restart.
Kick us out and restart. That's very frustrating when you're trying to learn the game, and I don't know. Credit to Don't Starve. Maybe they should have a tutorial. I probably do think they do. Terrific game, but they really do not explain how the game works at all, and yet they throw you into this permadeath.
There you go.
World. They generate a world, and it's
sandbox.
permadeath, and there's so many things that can kill you in this, and it doesn't explain like simple things like how your inventory system works, how to combine items.
But not only that, like as you say, it doesn't explain what could kill you and what couldn't kill you. You eat a piece of meat, it could kill you.
It could poison you.
Eat like one, like a red mushroom doesn't kill you, but a green mushroom does.
It could poison you.
However, it could be fine for my character, but James' character could die from it.
It poisoned me.
It's one of those things that like also depending like because there's so much variety in it, not just in like the environment that you're in, because it's always like a different map every time you start a new like server or game or something. But like if you're loading back into the same server, it doesn't change. But it's so much variety in terms of the character. Like one character will only eat from a crock pot and cook the food. But if they eat too much of the same type, like you can't just keep cooking boiled carrots because they're gonna hate it, and they're not like, you know, you got like your emotions and goes down and your brain goes down or your stomach goes down. Like then there's like other ones like you could like I haven't played the spider one, but like I'm sure that's like a cap on like what you can and can't do of like certain things, and like it's just so much variety in it that like maybe there is a tutorial in it, but like as someone who doesn't look for a tutorial, even I'm kind of like, man, is there a tutorial on this? Like
tutorial averse Wendy, but and that.
But
Yes,
it's just one of those games that like honestly it just really throws you in the deep end. Throws you in the deep end of the sandbox, and then you're just kind of wandering around going like, okay.
I actually think that works for this game.
Yeah.
Just because now simple things like combining items and like what item works with what, I think could be explained maybe a little bit better. But I think the way that they don't teach you like anything about long-term things, like you can come across massive monsters and just be completely killed in one shot.
A tree ant.
Yeah.
Had a tree ant chasing us for like a good 10 minutes, and I don't know how we got rid of it. I still don't.
You just stopped following
But
us.
the one thing it simply had to do would have been like to give you like a thing to do every day, like to start off tutorial, like, oh, you've just spawned in, you gotta collect firewood, you gotta collect twigs, you gotta collect grass in order to have a fire tonight. Like make sure to have a fire at like before it goes dark, and like, oh, you need to like then collect stone to make like up an axe so you can chop trees and you can make other things. Like even just simply having a little checklist in like the top right hand corner kind of thing would have been great.
That is a tremendous suggestion because it doesn't even have that. You literally come out with nothing. And no introductory text, no objectives like in the top corner of a screen, like a checklist, like you said. It doesn't have that, and I think that would be terrific for basic things, like basic survival things in the game that you learn on day one.
The checklist of things to have that day, and
getting rocks.
I just spawned in, started collecting shit, and I was like, ooh, something's now allows me to actually craft, because I think you found the craft corner first, like the little sidebar, and I was like, oh my god, and then like as soon as then like I was like, oh, I have all that stuff you're looking for, because I just started collecting it. Like I didn't know what it was, it just let me pick it up. So like it's a really good game. We're still actually in the middle of the game. We're in winter at the moment. Penguins appeared, and I'm just like, I'm loving this. But it's also just one of those things that I'm just like, I don't know if we're going to survive this winter or start again, but I hope we will, because I've learned things that like would prepare us better for next winter and all that. But like, it's just one of those games I think I want to go back to. It's a game that I'm not like, I haven't finished with you yet. I need more.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the game is tremendous. Like, it's a brilliant little sandbox, and I think it's the art style and the kind of creepiness to it. Nobody explains that at nighttime when you put up the fire, there's a kind of shadow demons,
the little Jack in the Box
their
sound
hands into the little Jack in the Box sound, and they're trying to reach in and try and steal your fire. And then you've sanity meters, you've your health,
you start
your
seeing
food,
like
and health meter. Yeah, it's honestly, it's brilliant. And the best thing I think about it is that it's cheap as chips. You can get it for about €5 on the Steam sale, and it comes with one free copy. And it's just a joy to play with friends. I really do think we have to get into this more.
I definitely
with our
get the
friends.
expansions of it.
Excellent. Yeah, there are tons of expansions in the game. And the server can hold like, I don't know how many people. It can hold loads of people, like over 10 anyway.
I'd love to see like getting more people in on it. I think it would be good.
And it's funny, before we move on, you mentioned that we have permadeath turned off. That does not alleviate the tension in this game, because if you die together at the same time, before the other person respawns, if you both die at the same time, then
game over.
You're still dead. But at least you respawn. If somebody else is safe and you happen to go off and die, then at least you come back and
run for your lives.
Yeah, and it's nice. We're getting better at it. We learn more and more, and we very rarely look things up online unless we're very much struggling in the early days. In the early days, I remember I had to make a guide in my notebook about what to do on the first few days, and that had really helped us. And we got the first few days were like were a cinch to us.
Yeah, because we kept like dying within like 5 days. I think the like wolves came, which like would just murder you. But like, no, it's fine though. It's definitely a game I'd recommend, and we're not finished with it. That's gonna be like into 2023 playing it.
I think this is a permanent place on my hard drive. Yeah, it's just lovely to jump back into. It's great crack as well. Totally recommend. TMNT Shredder's Revenge, really cool game, really cool art style, back to the arcade style Ninja Turtles, like left and right, and that kind of like brawl. I think they call them like the brawlers. Really cool. I'm not too big into brawlers, and it's very old school arcadey for me. It's not enough replayability for me. It's kind of cool, like, but it doesn't have the sort of like.
It was fun just to play through and to try it. I don't think like we like explored too far into the game. I think it was just like we just wanted to try playing it, and it was fun. But it's like it's one if you're into like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if you're into the old school style like arcade games, I suggest it. Otherwise, it's a take it or leave it. Like, if you have nothing else to play it. If you don't have any, like, if you do have other stuff to play, it's not something I'd rush to.
Yeah, that's a perfectly succinct.
Yeah.
Oh man, Battle Brothers. So
is this the one I died on?
Yes, that is true. So Battle Brothers is very long form. You could spend dozens and dozens and dozens of hours and still be in the introductory tutorial. It is just a huge, beefing, long game, and that's probably to its to a little bit of a detriment. I think if Battle Brothers had so it's a turn-based strategy game where you have to you're on like a top-down field. And it's kind of like you move, like, your whole hex squares and stuff like that. And you have certain movement and you have certain actions that you can take in the game. And they're all in the same amount of actions. It's a very slow burner. It's super tactical. Like the smallest little... I suppose it's very tactical in the sense that it would be great for like people who are like into long form games. Like you could spend like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours in Battle Brothers and be making like incremental changes. I would love to see the game I think it's too slow for its own good, and I'd love to see make kind of like you could probably call it a blitz mode, because I do think it's German developers, so that'd be kind of cool. So like if you could like accelerate the amount of money you get, like triple or quadruple the amount of money you get, triple or quadruple the amount of loot and drops and armor that you get per battle, I think, and experience that you get, and have like a blitz like boss rush mode where you like go just into like the meat of the game. There's too much, I think, back and forth between it, in between things, and doing small little like crappy kind of missions.
Too much in between, and yet you still let my character die.
I'm sorry, Wendy. In Battle Brothers, you can also create your own character and name them, and that adds to, it's kind of like the XCOM style, where you kind of have like a personal sort of attachment to a certain party member when they have certain name, and you feel like you care for them more then. But in that,
so cared for me more. Yeah, this is the second game he's named me in, and the second game that I've died in.
So if Wendy ever finds out that she's died, then there will be hell to pay. But I did make a second, so I started a second campaign and renamed another character after you, and you are now actually the highest performing character in the squad. So I hope that balances out. Brilliant game, totally recommended. I think it's €30 on without sale. It's a chunky game. It's deceptively long. And I've read some of the reviews, like user reviews on Steam and stuff, and you see the amount of hours people have put into this. It's a brilliant game, really gritty. It kind of has the same sort of like flaws as like XCOM does, whereas like one shot, like one wrong move can spell absolute disaster, and for that kind of reason it's perfect for like save scumming. If something goes wrong, just load back in. I've done it loads of times because I feel like I'm not making that much progress to see the full amount of the game, and I love save scumming in this because I just want to get to where I want to go. I want to see more of the game, unlock better armor, better ammo. I'm 60 hours into a campaign and I'm still on like the first like little villagers with little pitchforks and stuff. I'm like, when do I get the knights with Camelot style weapons and huge swords and stuff? And it takes so slow to get there, and it's kind of the game where you dedicate like hundreds of hours to. But you can, and it is really good, and there's loads of extra DLC that add like crafting and new skins and new places to go and new weapons and stuff like that, and it really is terrific.
Overwatch 2 has become our new Apex.
And then it hasn't.
So like obviously last year we were very much Apex. This year we're very much Overwatch. Overwatch 2 specifically, because you guys went away from it, went on to Apex, and then came back to Overwatch. It's really fun. I really enjoy it. I think like recently there's just been something lacking, like it's like something's in the water. Like every time we log on, like it's not about, oh, they're just better than us. No, something's in their water that they have just creamed us before we even get breath in.
That's the Adderall. So, see, it's a shame because you never played Overwatch 1. And Overwatch 1, in my opinion, was like the perfect multiplayer game. I think it was the most fun I've had in a multiplayer game since Team Fortress. That was like back in like that's like nearly 10 years ago.
Best game that you abandoned.
The Team Fortress is flooded by bots now. Hopefully, when we walk back in this in the future, we can say that Team Fortress is fixed. But Overwatch 2, I think the biggest mistake they did was just removing a hero.
Yeah, it went from 6 down to 5 on the relaunch of Overwatch 2. It was, so the idea behind Overwatch 2 was originally, you told me this, it was supposed to kind of become more like kind of campaign structure. So this is why it's more so Overwatch 1.2 even, if you will, or 1.5. Because it's still, there is some sort of kind of storyline like construct there, but it's not that you're following the storyline. They've just kind of gone back to being a brawler with new kind of updated maps. Some of them just are nighttime versus daytime, and then some maps that I still haven't seen. And it's just, it's like, it is a really good game. I think it's a lot more accessible than Apex.
Absolutely,
because once you die in Apex, that's it. You have to reload everything. At least if you die in this, you can respawn. There's also like their healers. Like I'm a healer in a game, like because I can't aim. I need a lot of playtime in order to get better at aiming. But like I can play Mercy and I can focus solely on healing and buffing people. Unlike in Apex with Lifeline, you kind of really have to have like 80% like shooting with 20% healing. This is like I can go full on 95% healing and buffing with 5% shooting normally before I die, because everyone else has died around me and I'm like, I've been caught alone and I'm like, oh no, I need to switch to my gun, which is a shit gun for Mercy, just saying.
It's supposed to be.
I know, but like even then, like it's so bad.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it's a great concept like game, and we've had some good crack on it. Like,
Oh,
definitely.
crack, yeah. I
really
really
good
enjoy
maps.
Overwatch 2. Like,
Yeah.
it's a great game. The production quality on it is amazing. Yeah, just the designs of the heroes and the characters and that whole class-based like system is brilliant. And the first game was tremendous. Yeah, they had to announce this because of the scandal, which we won't say on this family-friendly program. But yeah, the Overwatch 2, just they lost all their original designers and lead designer, and it's a shame because it's after changing the game so much that the original problem in the first game was that it got to such a stage with the tanks and the shield metas, and it was very slow and hard to break down. But in doing that, they've just shifted that to now it's just one tank is just incredibly buffed and incredibly hard to take down. It's not really solving any problem, and a lot of heroes have changed, and it just doesn't have the same. It's just not as the same as vanilla Overwatch 1. Those days, 2016, 2017, they were great days. My God, terrific. Actually, was it 2017? I think the game came out. I think it was 2017.
Yeah, I don't know.
Forza, yeah. I played this on Game Pass because I was too afraid to download the game because it's like 110 gig, I think, or something like that on hard drive space. Insane, but very worth it. And if you're into racing games, which I'm not really, but I was kind of tempted to see what this is like because the graphics are amazing, presentation, the cars are cool. Yeah, really, really cool. Yeah, if you're into racing, it's great. For me, it just doesn't have that long-lasting appeal because races got the same, even though there's different types of races. Like you could do chases, you could do like regular circuits, you could do like long races across in time trials and stuff. Yeah, it's a tremendous game. Just racing games just don't have the long form appeal for me. That's pretty much all I can really say on Forza. Oh, Last Call BBS. This at one stage was on my top 3. It's so subversive and so surreal. So the idea is that you are playing a computer. You're actually on the screen playing an old style. It's like a Sawayama. It was an actual real machine. Can't remember what year it was created, but you're playing all of these games within the game, and you download games from like a server within it. It's so subversive, and it's really, really fun. Some of the games are like really cool in it, and games that I've never really seen created before, like hard puzzles, and like you have to make like these factory style games that you have to like create the perfect like sequence and stuff, and like a load of different kind of like nodes, kind of like a server and like a switchboard kind of thing.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of that. You sent it to me. I didn't play
it. Really different, really subversive. Not for everybody though. It's very niche. Kind of some of the games are very, very difficult, but very, very fun, and it's just truly unique is the best way I can describe it. Citizen Sleeper. So Citizen Sleeper is like the best way I could describe it is like an interactive graphic novel. It's sort of along the same lines as maybe like Disco Elysium, and I say that in broad terms because Disco is one of my favorite games of all time, but it is kind of similar in a sense of like how you interact with people, how the problems you solve. The only difference in this is that you get dice. So each morning that you wake up, you get dice slots, and then you have to fit those into certain interactions. Somebody will ask you to take like a percentage check on like becoming their friend, say, and the higher the dice level you have, the higher the chance that that'll succeed. And it's all about balancing those dice, and you can like get more dice if you become a friend with somebody or as you spend time with people. Citizen Sleeper, brilliant game. It all rests, its laurels rest on the stories that people tell. Some of the stories didn't quite really hit it for me, like they're kind of a little bit boring, but other stories were really tremendous. Like great storytelling in it. A very limited gameplay, like there's not too much gameplay, like you're not really playing the game, more so than you're just experiencing the game as you're going along, but it's very good and I do recommend it. Not at full price though, I don't think. Maybe on Game Pass. I think it's on Game Pass, but yeah, it's still a unique and different game. Now the last game I have on this list, Signalis. At one stage this game was also on the top 3. Didn't make the cut though after I reconsidered age 4. But Signalis is absolutely tremendous.
Yeah.
It's an old school survival horror in a similar style as the old Resident Evils, bar it's being top down. Really unique art style. Kind of looks like those PS1 style of game. It's like has that PS1 era aesthetic and those kind of like kind of polygonal sort of triangular graphics. And it really does nail that aesthetic. The sound effects are amazing. Great sense of tension and dread. The story is really interesting, really peculiar. Has this kind of like time travel sort of thing going on in it, and like it pieces it out, like drip feeds you like bit by bit. Very interesting game. The gameplay and the survival horror where you like craft or like you balance your inventory management and stuff like that and find ammo, and it's limited ammo, so do you shoot some people or do you run past them and stuff like that. Really good. Not scary in a sense, but good tension. Like it could have made top 3, let's just say. That's how good this is. And I recommend this to anybody. Really tremendous that game. Great writing, great gameplay. It's brilliant.
Yeah, loads of games.
And that's pretty much that from me. I know that you've played a lot of cozy games that I haven't got images of here.
Yes, I didn't do my homework. I was supposed to submit and I didn't submit. I did play some like cozy games. I got better in the last couple of months playing, because like there's just so much going on in a year that like I just haven't had the time, which like is one of my like New Year's resolutions, as I say, is just to play more games, because like I kind of go back to the default ones like Deep Dive and like
Deep Rock, Galactic.
Just
so many deep dives.
She loves the deep dives. But like I played like a bunch of games, like a lot of games like most people would have played, like cozy games. Ooblets came out this year. Played Ooblets and I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like a I feel like it would be like kind of like Stardew Valley kind of Animal Crossing kind of vibes. Like you go around and you kind of collect it with a bit of Pokemon vibes, like little ooblets, and like you do dance battles and like those sort of like kind of like character things. You can sell things, you can create things, you can farm and fish and blah blah blah. It's like a cozy little game in that sense. I played Cozy Grove, where you play as a little scout leader for spirits. All the spirits are kind of bear themed, so they're really cute, and I love bears. But it's really cute. You go onto an island and you're kind of helping expand the island and help the spirits kind of solidify themselves, and like again you're like crafting things, you're collecting things, like kind of those sort of aspects. It's kind of like a top-down style, like Animal Crossing again. So that was like a big one that kind of came out this year. I really enjoy it. I highly recommend that one. It's just really cozy. I played kind of a did I say Bear and Breakfast already? No, I didn't. No. Bear and Breakfast came out. I played a demo last year of it, and it's really highly recommended. Like it's slightly different from how actually the demo is. So that came out. It was again, it's kind of like a top down. You're a bear running a bed and breakfast, and you get like you have like different areas that like you create beds and like for like food and like lounges and different things for different teams. Like it's very fun and enjoyable. I did Dwarf Romantic. I know you actually played that on the PC.
That's a great game.
I got that on my Switch this year. I really enjoyed it. It's like doing a tile-based building, like a city kind of style. Very enjoyable. I sat down and I think I played it straight for 5 hours without realizing it, because I just had a soundtrack on in the background. I was just playing it. Like
perfect way to play that game.
I think it was like just like a real cozy, like it was like go from like as typical Ireland from sun to rain and whatever again. So like I just like was curled up enjoying it. I got Let's Build a Zoo. I also played that demo last year and played that on Switch this year. Again, it's a great, like it's a pixelated game. Like you build your own zoo. You're able to do like crossbreeding of like mixing like a ostrich with like an elephant kind of things if you really want to. But that might like affect your zoo like in terms of ethics and all that. But like it's really like just like an enjoyable like kind of like sim builder kind of, but like it's all pixelated again. I love pixelated games. Similar to also I got I think it was like, what was it called? Forest Camp Story, which I found out that they had like 10 other games that were like the Hot Spring Story and like manga anime story, and like they're all pixelated, like kind of building like and managing, and like similar to like kind of like the Bullet Builder. Instead, like it automatically is like making money for you. and you're just trying to then collect the money and put it into building things, like more campsites or more like a hot spring area, like more like investing in like research and like advertisement. So it's just a money builder, as I like a money eater, I would call it, because it just like it just makes the money for you as you build around it, which is really fun. So it's not like high interactive. So I could just leave that on in front of me while I was watching a show, and every now and then look down and like fiddle with something, and then look back and watch a show, or like it was really enjoyable. And the other ones I do want to get, because like I actually really enjoy those style of games. I got Down in Bermuda, which I think you'd really enjoy, because it's a bit of a puzzle game, and you're trying to like basically, like, the story is that you were a gentleman who playing Crash down in Bermuda, and like for some reason it jumps straight away to like 30 years later or something like that, where you're an old man and you're trying to now leave the island. Which I don't know why it took you 30 years to do that, but like you start doing all these different puzzles, and like it's all about like moving the camera around to get different angles on the island, and like finding different things to collect in order to like move to the next island. So it's like a really enjoyable one, I think, that like you'd enjoy and everything. I think they're like kind of the main ones that like I got this year. I did get the classic when we went to Disney this year. It was my holiday game, as I call it, the Disney 3-pack, which was Aladdin, Lion King, and Jungle Book. That's always a good classic for anyone. It had it out on Switch. I used to play that on the PC back in the day. And it was just so fun. Like, just have like such a throwback. They were kind of like all my main cozy games this year that I think I played. Like, because I just then played the classics of like Sims 4, Deep Rock Age, like anything else like I probably played with you like on Steam.
And of all the games that you played, your cozy games, which one would you recommend? What was your favorite one?
I would probably say,
we're thinking too much.
I think actually Bear and Breakfast probably is my favorite, because it's that style of like house design, like obviously like you're building, like trying to like decorate a room and like fit as much as you can, and like you still have like little challenges, like you can go around collecting things. Like it's like basically Stardew Valley, like coziness, I would say. Like cozy, like you can focus on something, but you're like able to do other things and everything. Like it's just that kind of cozy, perfect game that I would highly recommend for people.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that's cool. And on the topic of Age 4 and favorites, what's your favorite Age of Empires 4 Civ?
That's gonna be, Jesus, now I can't remember the name. The Rus, it's the Rus, isn't it? Yeah, I was gonna be like,
good choice.
What's the R? I was like, it's a Romanian? No. Rus. The Rus I think is my favorite, because it's like it's cavalry kind of based, like, and then it would be Mongols. What's your one?
The Abbasid.
Oh yeah, you do love your camel.
I love the Abbasid.
I feel like you didn't really play camels in Age 2 until like Age 4 with the Abbasid and the camels. And now even in the like Age 2, like you throw on camels sometimes. If you get that Civ, you go all in, like, kind of. So
yeah, I do really enjoy the Abbasid. Just love that whole vibe.
Yeah.
If you could say that about a Civ.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, thanks for running through your little cozy games.
Yeah, there's so many.
Looks amazing, and also I love Dwarf Romantic, so I would recommend that as well. I have played that. It's so cozy.
It's really good.